Peter OBI interviewed by Mr. Sheon on Channels TV. Peter OBI is giving his reasons for dumping PDP, and then quite some interesting points he made, and then I believe we're going to be having better understanding of the reasons why we're hearing from the horse's mouth. So let me just leave you to listen to the interview, and then you make your own judgment about this particular man called Mr. Peter OBI, former governor of Anambra State.
You have freedom of association. You have freedom to go in, freedom to go out. It's a relationship thing. And when you go into a relationship, in an association, you go in there for a reason. And if you feel that maybe the activities that you go on is at variance with your own person and your principles, the only thing you can do is to quietly and decently leave the place. And that's what I did. You could see my write-up to the chairman of the party. There was no tone there that shows any quarrel or anything. I thank them for the opportunity of being their member, opportunity of associating myself there, and said, going on, I found out that I can no longer continue because of some activities I believe that are at variance with my person and my principles.
What kind of things are that?
Well, it's not personal to me.
Okay.
Quite frankly, there's nothing. It's just like I always tell people, the process through which you get into arrive at any destination, especially when it comes to seeking a public office, is as fundamental as what you do thereafter. So for me, I want to be able to follow a process that I believe in. Some people will tell you, do anything, when you get there you can correct it. No, I don't believe in that. The process must be same as what I do thereafter. As a politician, I have campaigned, I've gone around the country, I've done what I'm supposed to do, presented myself to the people, and if I find out there's other things I might not be able to be part of, I decently withdrew myself. There was no issue.
You know the reason why I'm asking this question? I mean, one is curious that just about the time you left, Senator Abaribe has left also.
Well, everybody has his own reason for living.
You think things are going wrong in the PDP?
No, I don't think so. Everybody, like I said, it's an association. Now people are living, they're living everywhere, you know. It's an association. You have right to go in, you have right to go out. There's nothing wrong there.
Does it call to a question from what your friend said yesterday, Governor Nyesom Wike said about, I mean, you leaving the party and coming back, you've gone around the country, and now on what platform will you now say you want to, you've gone on the platform of the PDP to campaign, to go around and consult the delegates of the PDP. Does that call to question your own loyalty as a party person?
I don't understand. Can you be clear on what he said? He said
Governor Nyesom Wike called your loyalty to question to the PDP.
What I don't know what I like to question. I came into a system, and I was part of that system. I stayed there throughout the years I was in PDP. Nobody can question my loyalty to the party. I participated in everything, and when I'm going out, I didn't go out in a cross situation. I did it so decently because I have right to do so.
Did you probably think that you may not get the ticket of the party?
Not at all, not at all, not at all. I'm not desperate to be president. Not am I desperate to be anything. I'm desperate to see Nigeria work, especially for the youths of this country.
You don't think that PDP is the right vehicle for you to achieve that?
No. It's like I said, I've left. I've moved on, you know, to where I think the process might allow me. It's not about, I keep saying, it's not about winning or losing. I would rather lose doing the right thing than win doing the wrong thing. My politics have been consistent in character and integrity throughout the time I started. And you can go and check. This is not the first time I left PDP, if you don't know. In 2002, when I started this politics, I was a member of PDP. Go and read what Olisametu wrote. I went to one meeting and I wanted to contribute, and people said, no, you can't contribute. No, I quietly left them. I went to APCA because I said, if I'm in a system where freedom of contribution is not allowed, I went to APCA, campaigned, won the election, somebody else was declared. I didn't quarrel. I went to court. I became the first Nigerian to ever stay in court for 3 years until court declared me the winner. I didn't quarrel. Same thing is what you see in that consistency I'm saying. When I became governor, 6 months after, I was impeached. I didn't quarrel with those who impeached me. I went to court. Eventually, the court brought me back. I became the first Nigerian to come back from impeachment as a governor. Of course, less than 1 year after that, election was conducted when my tenure was just about 1 year. INEC conducted the election, declared somebody as winner, he became governor. I didn't quarrel. I went to court again. And all through to Supreme Court, I won. That is why you have staggered the election in Nigeria today. It was because of me. I became the first person to set that example.
This very move that you've made, how painful is it for you?
This isn't painful.
Because you've gone around as a flag, seeking the flag of the PDP. Now you have to abandon that. It's like a project that you've seen to almost 95%,
no,
and you abandoned and you left.
There's nothing painful in my life. My late mother taught me never, always be glad for an experience. No matter what it costs you.
So what informed the choice of Labour Party?
Well, if you look at what I've been saying, you mentioned something. Can I go back to the question you asked earlier about comments of Governor Wike yesterday? There's something he talked about. When he was talking, the one I think he mentioned was when he talked about issue of integrity. He said that even my going questions my integrity. I don't know how that was came in, but I think when we talk about integrity, we should talk about the integrity in management of public resources. That is what we should be talking about in this country. And when such things are mentioned about me, I feel maybe there's something missing somehow. So go and check my record as the governor. I was impeached for 3 reasons. 1, my office had an approved budget to be renovated for 298 million naira. I renovated everything with 43,200,000. My lodge, to repair and renovate the lodge where the governor lives, which is me, was 486 million naira. I did everything with 81 million naira. Number 3 item was that I was saving money without the authority of the house. From day one, I said we must save money. And that went through. For 8 years I was governor. Go ask any contractor, whether any contractor was sat with me to talk about what is I'm entitled to, inflated any contract, any supplier, anybody. And when I left office, his record, I left $75 billion, $500 million at that time, because it's public money. I was managing public trust, and I did so.
That's for integrity.
For me, that is, when you talk about integrity, it questions your management of public trust and resources. Go to Anambra State today. I have no land given to me by Anambra State government. My managing director of my housing authority, Mike Nwafo, is still alive. He gave me land and 2 houses. And I told him, I'm not entitled to it. I'm the manager of this. So, for me, nobody have ever seen me in my political life sharing money anywhere. I'm not saying I'm a saint, but I did things which I believed that was right. You asked me a question. Second question which you asked.
Yeah. And then I was asking you that, because that matter touched on the issue of your integrity and perhaps the allegation of a lack of character. And that you immediately left and you,
I've just shown you the issue of, I've just described the issue of character, how I came to where I was, and I've shown you answered the issue of integrity, and then...
Your choice of Labour Party.
Well, let me also correct one thing that I read in social media, that I immediately visited
NNPP.
NNPP. Never had such visit.
That was not a choice for you at the time?
No, it wasn't even a choice.
Why was the speculation coming that you might be joining NNPP?
I don't know. Yeah, the people who live on speculation. I never visited anybody. I didn't even leave. I just said, I wrote a letter and submitted it quietly. Why choice of labor? If you had followed my mantra since I started this, I've always said, Shehu, the greatest tragedy of our country today is consumption and not production. It is sharing and not creating. I said I want to move the country from consumption to production. A country of 200 million people with a land size of 923,000 square kilometers cannot produce or feed itself. No export. So our total export is less than $30 billion.
How do you hope to change that narrative?
For 200 million people. Less than 30, that is including oil. Oil is about 80% of our foreign exchange earning. And so you can calculate how much that it is when you include that. So you're talking about, there's no way that can happen. There's no way that can sustain the country. It is not possible. Countries that are smaller in land size, in population, like I've always mentioned, like Vietnam, 100 million, 331,000 square kilometers of land, total export last year, $312 billion. 97% are manufactured goods. There's no production here. It must change.
I'm going to ask you how you hope to change that, because at this point in time, millions of Nigerians are listening to those who want to get into the #1 city in the country, and the solution are the issues. But we'll take a breather. So much, everyone, for staying with us. Mr. Peter Obi, presidential aspirant who moved now to the Labour Party, has been talking to us. Thank you so much, Mr. Obi, for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you were talking about, a lot of Nigerians, including myself, were interested in solutions. And I'm very certain that Nigerians are looking for the person who has the answers to the very many questions on the lips of a lot of Nigerians. So you're talking about export and our capacity as a Nigerian to generate revenue. Now, the question is, what would you do differently to turn around this very challenge of our country?
So you see me go around the country talking about trade. Let's clear developmental parameters or yardsticks to measure development. If you go through #1, which are there for everybody to see, is issue of human development index. So first is you talk about issue of health, you talk about issue of education, you talk about the issue of per capita. All these issues are issues you need to invest adequately in. And then especially the last one, you can only increase people's per capita by tackling the economy. And you can't talk about tackling the economy without talking about trade. It is trade that is the main, call it engine or wheel of economy. And countries after countries' growth are measured, wealth measured by the trade of that nation. So that's the critical area where you need to invest. So I'm a trader. I've created wealth. I started as a micro, small, medium business. So I know what you can do in order to create wealth. Today we have massive insecurity, massive, problems all over the place. Which solution can be linked to the economy? If you invest in the economy of this country and put millions of people that you have thrown into poverty out of poverty, shall you reduce criminality? That has been done everywhere in the world. And we have talented young people, energetic, that we have not invested in. If you invest properly in them, give them access to capital, access to proper education and everything, it will be different.
So if Nigerians give you a chance now, today, with security situation in the country, economic situation and all of that, say in 100 days or less, what should they expect from you differently from what we see today in Nigeria? As a leader, how drastic or how radical would you handle things?
Well, don't talk about 100 days. This problem cannot be solved in 100 days. Anybody who is promising 100 days...
But Nigerians want solution. They want action.
No, it is not possible. You can't do it overnight. You just have to, from day one, show a clear destination that is visible, measurable, people can believe in. I've done it in the state. And
that's what they should expect from a Peter Obi presidency.
Period. You do it systematically, and you can measure it. If you say, I'm going to tackle issues, we're going to invest in health, primary health care, how many schools of nurses we have? We have 774 local governments. How many do we have today? We have less than about 400 schools in this sector. Can we increase it? What are we producing? The world is shortage of nurses and midwives. Can we help? Even in Nigeria, the number we have is far less than the required. So what are we doing? You can move into education. Today, our tertiary school enrollment is 9%. The global average is at 8%. In developed world, it's 50%. So look at it. We are not even achieving a quarter of the global average. And worse, they're shut down for months now. You can't do that.
You've said all of this, but the question is whether or not you are hoping to get a ticket of the Labour Party. That's the plan, isn't it?
No. Sheikh, I've told you. My position in this whole exercise is not enshrined in desperation.
But you hope to be the president of Nigeria?
Yes. I hope to get the ticket.
That's one of the reasons why you come to Labour Party.
I hope to get the ticket. I have to campaign the way it should be. And I hope that the people will vote for me because I have an idea on how to turn around this sinking ship.
Mr. Peter Obi, we need to let you go because we have a lot of obligations that we need to meet tonight. Thank you so much, and we hope that at some point, please create time so that we can talk extensively about some of your plans.
Thank you
so
very
much,
much,
Mr. Peter Obi, for joining us tonight.
Thank you.